Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night Fiction Club. My name is Buddy Gott, and with me, as always, is.
Melissa Lummis. How's everybody doing?
I can't speak for everyone, but I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had a work weekend,
A
but it
work
was a
weekend?
good weekend. We got stuff done around here. We're moving my soon-to-be teenage daughter down to a bedroom where she has her own bath, so she doesn't have to fight with her father and her brother in the bathroom.
Oh, cool. Is it sort of like when Greg Brady moved into his father's den on the Brady Bunch? I remember he made it all hippie-like with the light and the beads and all that stuff.
Hold on a second. I'm totally distracted. Okay. I left the YouTube video
Oh, it happens. It happens. That's okay. You can. I was just being silly, making a Brady Bunch reference, as I'm known to
as
do.
usual.
Yes. So,
So,
go ahead.
so you have some news, don't you?
I do have some news, and but it's very, very happy news. I think probably quite a few of our viewers may already know this, but last Sunday, a week ago today, I got engaged.
Yay!
Yes, yes.
Congratulations!
Thank you, thank you. The lovely Lisa Stahl apparently lost a really big bet, and she agreed to be my wife.
I was gonna say, what happened?
No,
I'm
actually, it
just
was.
kidding, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah, I was vacationing down there. She lives in Williamsburg, Virginia, as you know,
Hmm.
and we it was really unplanned, and we both kind of had a feeling that each of us was about to do it. Because I don't know if you saw her post about it on lmstall.com. For anyone who wants to check out Lisa's wonderful site, she is a writer. She had written about it. She has actually written a book about our relationship. She started it not long after we started dating, and what her plan was going to be was that she was going to, of course, share things about our relationship, about her life and her past experiences, and then in the last chapter, she was going to propose to me. So
Oh,
she had,
how
yeah,
sweet
yeah,
is that?
yeah. That was just so touching, and I didn't know that for sure. I kind of had a feeling because she's not. I love you dearly, Lisa, but you're not the best at keeping secrets. And she kind of
No.
would let a few things slip here and there. So I kind of had a feeling, and the thing is that I wanted to propose to her like as soon as for a while now, and then I was down there and I was just like it's just so wrapped up in being with her, and
Hmm.
like every 5 minutes I'm like, oh, I want to ask her, but oh, if she's going to do that at the end of the book, I don't want to ruin that for her because she spent months working on this book. And she kind of said at one point, she goes, you know the end of the book. You know what I want to ask you. I want to marry you. And I'm like, okay, well, that
Hmm.
doesn't really count as the question, right? And she's like, no, no. So later, she's just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to last. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to last. Tell you what, let's just here's my idea. Let's ask each other at the exact same time,
Oh.
and we'll do it that way. So we grabbed each other's hands and we kneeled down in front of each other and we asked each other at the same time and answered at the same time.
That
So,
is too freaking romantic. It's just insanely romantic.
well, thanks. It was wonderful. It was the best day of my life so far, and I know just wonderful, wonderful times are ahead.
Yes, they are. You're a very lucky guy. You know that, right?
I do know that. Believe me, I do know that. I feel very lucky. I'm very happy.
And as one of your friends, I have to say she's a very lucky gal.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very, very much. Thanks. So, boy, I'm so lost talking about my happy times there. I forget what do we normally do? Well, we normally start out our shows by saying what our topic is, and then we do a little thing. First of all, our topic tonight is great patriotic stories.
Hmm.
So that's gonna be fun to talk about. I asked for suggestions, and I know you did too on
Hmm.
Facebook and other places, and we got a lot to talk about just from what our friends suggested. And also, we start every show with talking about what we are currently reading. So, are you currently reading anything?
I am, and I'm currently reading Good Omens.
Are you? Okay, I know we
Terry
talked about that
Pratchett
a
and
couple of
Neil
weeks ago.
Gaiman. Yeah, so I've gotten started on reading that. I'm reading like a chapter a night. So that's like my okay, it's time for me to chill and relax and enjoy something, and that's what I've been reading.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
And I had mentioned, we skipped the show last week, but I had mentioned in the show before and the show before that I was also reading that.
Hmm.
And Melissa, I got to tell you, I'm kind of losing interest in it.
Are you really?
I hate to say that. I was reading a little
Uh,
bit here, reading a little bit there, and like you, I've got a lot going on. Not always easy
yeah,
to find time to read. But I took the train down to see Lisa, and it's about a 5 hour trip. And I was reading it, I was kind of into it, and then I don't know, some new characters were introduced, and I just found myself losing interest. And I'm hoping I can dive back into it. I guess
yeah,
I have a feeling it's one of those things where if I work through this, it's going to be worth it
yeah.
because I'm
That's
really
my
liking.
feeling too. I'm about on the fifth chapter, and there's some things I got to work through, but I'm doing it. So I encourage you to keep working
That's
through
right,
it.
because we're going to talk about it on an upcoming
Yes.
show. I did put that aside, and I started reading something I started a while ago, and for whatever reason I stopped, but it wasn't because I was losing interest in it, and that is Unicorn Genesis
Oh
by Johnny
yeah.
B. Truitt
Uh
and
huh.
Sean Platt. They had done Unicorn Western early last year, a long series of nine novellas, I suppose you would say, or short
Mm.
novels. And I had read all of those, and I loved them. That was like my favorite thing I read last year. So, and Unicorn Genesis is the prequel to that, and then later, I think later this year or early next year, they're going to wrap it up with Unicorn Apocalypse. So
Ooh.
I started reading Unicorn Genesis, and it's pretty cool so far. I might finish that before I dive back into
Cool.
Good Omens. So we
Oh,
will
and
see.
another book I have that I've started reading is a new release by a friend of ours, Tawdra Candle, and it's called Just Desserts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you mentioned that last. It had just come out during our last show.
yep, and I read Best Served Cold. Now, I think I said this before, but I'm not a big new adult genre fan. This is some new genre that's come out. It's
Right.
basically geared towards the young adult, but for the older young adult. So it's got more adult. It's got adult content in it. So there'll be real sex scenes and all that. And I read she does these duets
Okay.
instead of trilogies. She does duets, and so this one, the first one was Best Served Cold, and I read that one till I fell asleep and then woke up the next morning and had to finish it. So they're really good reads, and I'm surprised, how much I loved it. Not because of who wrote it, because Tawdra Candle's an awesome writer. She is incredible. You get lost in her stories, but because I was a little unsure about the genre, because it's kind of hard to read things about 20 somethings, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, when you're
Yes.
so far down the road and you're going, why would you make that stupid ass decision? But that's what we do when we're 20.
Yeah, and I know, like when I get into my later 20s and early 30s, I'll feel that same way you're talking about. When I can't relate to that stuff as
Just
much.
leave me out here hanging. Thanks, buddy. Oh my God.
I'm
What am I going to
kidding. I'm
do with
kidding.
you?
Easily pass for 22 and a half.
Oh, now there you go. You saved yourself. Thank you.
Okay, I thought it was going to be a
Yeah.
long show there for a moment.
You be
All
getting the
right, let's
stink
talk.
eye.
Let us talk about the topic, the great patriotic stories. Like I said, we have a
Yes.
lot of things from our viewers, but do you want to start out with something that you would like to talk about?
I just want to point out for those of you who have joined us live, I have posted as usual, I try to get a playlist done up on Spotify on the topic, and I have a patriotic playlist. It's just called Patriotic Songs that I put together this week. Excuse me, drinking wine tonight.
Ah,
And eating cookies. I made chocolate chip cookies this week. That was
oh,
another thing. I was just very much domestic goddess this weekend. I didn't get any writing done. Shame.
well,
But
that's okay. But you have, for the patriotic theme, you have American cookies and American wine, right?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently the American gnats like my American wine. Like, well, you've just been in Virginia. It's been very damp here in Virginia. And when that happens, when it rains a lot, the gnats are just insane.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
true.
So I want to start with some music. You ready for that?
I am ready for that.
Okay. So I had to put on this list of patriotic songs Born in the USA
Okay, I
by
thought that one might
Bruce.
come up.
Yep, Bruce Springsteen's. Now, what you're going to see tonight, those of you who are watching, is a lot of back and forth. Like some of it's going to be very patriotic and very celebratory, and some of it's just exploring, American life and what it's like to be an American. Certainly through the 20th century. I kind of avoided all the as far as songs go, all the obvious ones, like, you know, all the ones we've been
Do you
you've
realize
seen
the
with
irony there? Do you realize the irony there? The obvious ones
uh, uh, uh.
like God Bless
Yes,
America
God
and
bless America. But I
right.
did find a kick-ass version, couple kick-ass versions of the Star Spangled Banner, and I bet one of them you can guess.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're, part of the young crowd out there, and you've never heard Jimi Hendrix do the Star Spangled Banner, check it out. It's in my patriotic songs list. That
And
is a kick-ass rendition.
I'm sorry, the what rendition?
I just said it's a kick-ass rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, okay. Now, did he do that at Woodstock? I think he did
Yes.
that. Okay, that's what I thought. Fantastic.
And it's kind of cool to listen to that live version,
Hmm.
um, but there's certainly a recorded version as well. And then the other one, just to wrap up this, is the Star Spangled Banner by Madison Rising. And you probably haven't heard of that group. It's kind of a up-and-coming group.
No, I can't say
But
I have heard of
it's
them.
it's in the list, so check that one out.
Oh, okay, cool. And I was always very, very fond of Whitney Houston's version of the Star Spangled Banner. They did it in
Mm-hmm.
the Super Bowl, and they released it as a single. Got a lot of airplay on the radio. Not the
Yep,
biggest Whitney Houston fan,
me neither.
but that was really, really just incredible. And it was
It
on
was.
all the
I mean,
golf.
she had an incredible voice. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, she did. She
I
did.
hate to bring up the sadness of it, but what a waste.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
girl had a lot more that she had to do in this life, and she left too soon.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, very, very talented singer. And I'll mention a couple of songs real
Yep,
quick.
go ahead.
It's okay. I like. I'm a big Simon and Garfunkel fan, and they had a couple of songs. They had America.
Yes, that's in
Yeah.
my list.
Is
Cool.
it? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Which was also remade by Yes. Have you ever heard Yes's version of that?
No! Holy
Yeah, it's
crap,
really good.
no.
Yeah, I think it was either very, very late '60s or early '70s. It was on one of their very first albums, probably before they hit it like really huge. But it's a really good version of it, and it's kind of cool to hear like non-Americans singing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ha 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 ha. It's funny I didn't hear that one. It's funny I haven't heard that one because I love Yes. I think
Yeah,
they're,
I'm a big Yes fan.
Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Yeah, and I've seen All Good People, a lot of great.
Yes.
And another one by Simon and Garfunkel is American Tune. I like that song a lot
Ooh.
too.
You know what? I don't have that in my list. I'm going to add it.
Yeah,
This is
good
what I
stuff.
like about this. I can like change it up live.
Yeah, see if you can get the version from. Listen to me, bossy guy, from the Concert in Central Park album. That's really good. The
Oh, the
reunion
concert
show.
in Central Park.
Yeah, it was the reunion concert that they did in the early '80s. Fantastic album.
Okay, I'll give it a
Anyone wants to
shot.
check out some live Simon and Garfunkel? That's a great one to listen to. So that's a couple of the tunes that I've got. While you're doing that, why don't I go to some of comment here. Let me bring
Oh, we
this
got a comment. Yay, somebody's watching.
up. This is from LM Stahl. I mentioned her earlier as Lisa, the one that I got engaged to,
Your
and he says,
fiance.
I do want to marry you. Happy girl. Smiley face, smiley face.
I love it.
I'm so glad she hasn't changed her mind yet. Oh, I'm so glad.
Or what are you waiting for her to be like, dude, I screwed up.
No, I'm afraid she's going to come to her senses.
Aw,
No,
no.
I'm kidding. Gosh, we're in love. Um,
Yes, you are.
yes, we are. All right, I'll move on. So I'm not giddy guy the whole show. I want to go to some of the Facebook responses that I had.
Okay, awesome.
Roland Denzel, he's a cool guy. He's tuned into the show before, and I know him from other places online. He's a writer.
Uh-huh.
He mentions The Patriot, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, great movie.
Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger. One of Heath Ledger's first big things. I think that catapulted him to fame.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say this about The Patriot. I think it's going to gain more and more interest and more and more fans as time goes on simply because of Heath Ledger. and the
Yeah.
fact that he passed away.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're right, and something like that is, and a lot of the kind of movies that I think will probably come up tonight, that take place in, and especially a historic time period, is that they are kind of timeless to watch. They're not going
Yes.
to be dated, even if you're watching it 20 years ago. Just like how if we watch a John Wayne movie now, one of his
Right.
war movies or something, it's still very inspiring. Also, here we had writer Drew Avery, who was recently on Buddy's writing show. He's a very talented writer, also from Virginia. And he
Mhm.
asked, have you seen the HBO series John Adams?
I started watching that. I haven't seen the whole thing, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have not seen it, but I heard it's very good. And Lisa agreed with that too, saying it was very good. And Drew, apparently, yeah, he likes it. And he also mentioned the TV show Falling Skies. He said, which deals a lot with patriotism. Of course, it's more on a human versus alien scale, but
Right.
still.
Yep. And that's a good segue into Humans versus Aliens, which is Independence Day.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
remember that movie?
Not
Yeah.
only do I remember it, but it's here on my list. So
Oh, excelente.
yeah.
Cheers.
Are you a big fan of that one?
I love that movie, I'll be honest. I mean, it's very much a rah rah America type thing, but
Right.
um, I enjoy Will Smith. I think he's a good actor. I've enjoyed the movies that he's in, and the special effects and everything, and the concepts in that movie just were entertaining. And I have a little story with that movie.
Oh, okay.
When my husband and I went on our honeymoon to Mexico, my in-laws got us this like 10-day trip to Mexico, and it wasn't like go to Cancun for 10 days. It was go to Merida for 3 days, and we went to Chichen Itza for a night, and we stayed in what was called the Presidential Suite, which was like this little cabana, but it was
Mhm.
it was built to look like traditional huts with the big grass peaked roof and all that, but
Like the
inside it
huts
was,
on Gilligan's Island?
yeah, like the Gilligan's Island. I'm not kidding you. It was like big
Awesome.
grass roofs. Well, but inside it was all marble and fancy, and it had this big jacuzzi tub. I mean, it was awesome. Awesome for
Oh,
a
wow,
honeymoon.
that sounds pretty awesome.
Well, about 2 o'clock in the morning, we saw Independence Day was on the TV, and we're exhausted. We've been hiking up and down, Chichen Itza and other things. And, I just thought it was time to pass out, and my husband puts on Independence Day. Well, I'm just dozing off and dozing off. And I wake up, and it's that part where the alien's head comes out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And all of a sudden, my husband goes, wah, wah, wah. And I sit up, and he's like, what, what? And I'm like, oh, you've seen this movie? And then he turns, he's like, no, look. And there was this palmetto bug. You know how big they are?
Oh,
They
yeah,
look like
they
roaches.
can
It
get
was like
huge.
this big, like on the frame of the door. Well, the funny thing is, in these huts, it's like the roof and the walls don't meet. So there's open space.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I guess they have a different sense of what's acceptable.
Oh, wow. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
But that was a really good movie. That was one, oh, when it came out, it was such a big blockbuster. That was one you almost
Mhm.
had to go to the theaters to see. And you're
Right.
right, it was very rah-rah America. And I remember some people having a problem with that, which I kind of was like, come on, it's a movie. It's called
Yeah,
Independence Day. I mean,
exactly.
what do you expect? I mean, but really good movie. And I've always been a big fan of Bill Pullman, and he played the
Uh-huh.
president in that. And
Hmm.
really great movie. Great movie.
I don't understand where that comes from. It's like we're not allowed to celebrate or be proud of our American heritage. I mean, it seems like the trend nowadays is to tear it down and, oh, American history is so horrible and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, people did the best that they could with the knowledge that they had and where they were. It's like we all have to evolve socially and ethically. And
Hmm.
I have no problem being proud of my country. There's also a lot of good. So,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now I'm going to go old school for a movie here, okay?
cool. Do
This
it.
goes back to, geez, I think it was in the 1930s. I should have looked up the date on it. But Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, starring
Oh
Jimmy
my
Stewart.
gosh. Yay. I
Uh,
almost put that on my list, but I
oh,
had to
did
save
you?
something for you.
I used to be, well, I still am, but I don't watch his movies like I used to. A huge, huge, huge James Stewart fan, where I would just watch everything of his that came on TV, and that's just such a fantastic movie.
It
It's
is.
just
It's
he was
awesome.
great in that. Very inspiring, very uplifting movie, and Your son's in the comments.
He
Okay.
is. He's over on his computer next to me watching the show,
Oh, that's
and he
great. Hi,
says,
Connor. I got
"Here's
her.
my hi Connor," and he says, "Say stuff about sci-fi shows." And that was me laugh out loud when he's. Did you video bomb me? I didn't even see it. Yeah, because Lisa says, "Great video bomb by your son,
Uh,
Melissa." I had to mention him.
no, he's a good kid. He's got a great mom.
um, Oh, thank y'all. And
You're welcome.
Drew Avera, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, "How about Proud to be an American? That song usually makes me want to cry, and I'm not a crybaby." And that
Yeah,
is a good song. And you know what? I need to add that
yeah, that is a
to the
great song.
patriotic song. Good one. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, great suggestion there, Drew. But James Stewart, like I said, it was fantastic
Hmm.
in that movie. He was always fantastic. I actually, I think it was like it was a couple of years before James Stewart passed away. I guess he died. I can't remember when, late '80s, early '90s. But I had read that at that point, he was retired. He would still like
Uh-huh.
show up at certain functions in Hollywood and all that. But that he read all of his fan mail. So I wrote a fan letter to him
Oh, cool.
saying, he was my favorite actor, and at that time, I actually wanted to be an actor. I had been
Okay.
in some plays, and had mentioned that in
Why am
there.
I not surprised?
But he wrote back to me, and I still have it, and it's one of my most cherished possessions. Is Jimmy
Oh,
Stewart.
cool.
Yeah, he said, "I thank you for all the kind things you said about me and my work. I wish you the best of everything, and wish you a wonderful life." And he signed it, and that was like pretty. I
Aw.
couldn't get over when I got that in the mail. It
Well,
was
yeah.
fantastic. Okay, I am geeking out. But hey, Jimmy Stewart sent me a letter. How great's that?
Hey, it is great. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, do you have something you want to talk about, and then I'll touch on some of the more of the comments that we got?
Let's see. I want to mention some of the songs I put into my list. Go back
Mm-hmm.
to the patriotic songs.
Sure.
Born Free by Kid Rock, and I know you don't listen to Kid Rock, but it's a really awesome ballad. Love it.
Born Free.
Hmm.
Is it a remake of that old '70s song? Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Well,
know.
regardless, yeah, I
It's
don't know
not
that
the
song.
Free Willy song.
Okay. All right.
um, but I had to mention Grand Funk Railroad tonight, and their song "We're an American Band."
Oh
What's
yeah, good
more
choice.
American and more patriotic than a good old fashioned rock and roll band? And then them singing "We're an American Band," and I also bring it up because my parents, being the original hippies, I was trying to call them because they're trying to get together for Fourth of July, and my mom sends me a text, and she's like, "Well, we're at the blah 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 festival," and she's like, "Grand Funk, so and so from Grand Funk Railroad just came up," and
Oh wow.
yeah, they do this. They go to they have lots of good venues around the Reading area in Pennsylvania. And
Oh
so they
cool.
go and see the Eagles and they see the Beach Boys. They see
Oh
all the originals.
nice. Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Wow, and yeah, that's a great song. We're an American
Yeah,
band.
it is. And Dave Anson brought up "Born in the USA" by, of course, the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Do
Hmm.
you know the root of the word boss?
Um, the original root, or just how it pertains to Bruce Springsteen?
No, the
I
original
exist.
root.
Hello.
Well,
My
hello.
family, my
Get the whole
family has
family on
decided
today. Yeah.
tonight is the night to video bomb mom. That was my daughter, and somewhere in the background is my husband digging through a drawer. Okay, the root of the word boss comes from a Dutch word "baas," Baas, and do you know what it means?
I don't.
My husband. It means master.
Really
Hmm. It means master. Or it's one of the meanings. It also means bovine.
interesting. Interesting.
Okay. I just had to bring up that little bit of trivia. Okay, a couple
That's
more
good.
songs,
Okay.
and then I'll hand it over to you. American Made, and I'm
American
called
Made.
the Oak Ridge,
MAID.
the Oak Ridge Boys.
Oh, okay.
So that's an oldie. Um, John Mellencamp has a bunch of them that I think are very American. He's very much American themed. Small
Hmm.
town,
Right.
uh,
He
our
did a lot
country.
for the farmers with Farm Aid, things like
Yep.
that.
Pink houses.
Hmm.
I think those are the ones that I put in the list. There's several songs, like Soundgarden did a song called "4th of July." If you haven't listened to it, listen to that. It's really cool.
Okay, I think I know that. I like Soundgarden.
Tracy Chapman did a version of America.
Oh,
Ever
okay.
hear that one?
No.
It's on her Where You Live album.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
American Girl, I would
American,
guess.
yeah, American Girl. And then Lenny Kravitz takes it up a notch.
Oh, to American Woman.
American Woman.
Right.
And then Neil Young.
Um, Southern Man, better.
Rockin' in the Free World.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, yeah, I think he was singing about Southern Man in the U.S.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of songs that, these American rock and roll groups, it's very pro, happy to be an American type of songs.
Mm-hmm.
But some unusual ones you might not have heard of. Three Doors Down doing Citizen Soldier.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Metallica sings a song called Don't Tread on Me.
Okay, and that has an American theme to it?
Don't Tread on Me. Come on, you don't know what Don't Tread on Me is all about? Culpeper Minutemen. I live in Culpeper County, so
Oh, okay.
the Culpeper Minutemen made a flag, and it's a snake. And the flag said, "Don't tread on me."
Okay, I wasn't familiar with that.
Ah, look it up. Look it up, dude. Okay,
Okay,
your
fantastic.
turn.
Okay,
As
let
I
me go back.
wiggle in my seat because I'm so excited. Your turn.
Well, it's good to see you excited. Okay, let me go back here then to our comments. And Darren Wearmouth, I think you know Darren. He's a very, very talented writer. He's a friend of the show.
Yep.
And Darren says, mine are the World War I memoirs. My favorites are Goodbye to All That by Robert Graves,
Uh-huh.
the Schurston, I don't know if I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, trilogy by Siegfried Sassoon, and The Weary Road by Charles, and I know I'm not going to say this right, Dieu. It's capital Dioue. All very different, but equally as touching.
Yes.
So there you go. And also Darren said that Darren is English. He said most Englishmen love Land of Hope and Glory. I prefer Nimrod by Sir Edward Elgar, part of his Enigma variations. You can feel the passion and patriotism oozing out of the composition.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those are some things I need to check out.
Yeah, definitely. And this is from my friend Kevin Seaton, and he mentions Patton, which was a famous movie in the early 70s starring George C. Scott as Patton. Yep. And he put a quote here, now I want you to remember that no bastard ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by making the other poor dumb bastard die for his country. So, there you go. I have not seen that movie since I was a kid, but that is a classic movie.
It's a classic one.
Classic historical figure.
I have to address David Anson's comment. He says, what wine is Melissa drinking? I'm drinking an Argentinian Malbec, which I love Argentinian wines, by the way. But I am drinking. This is a standard.
How do you spell that?
This is can you all see this? This is Apothic Red. Apothic Red. This one is a blend, and what I've learned is what winemakers will do is, once they've gone through and made whatever their signature grapes are, and they have some left over, but not enough to do whatever their vat of wine is, they will take all of them, put them together, and that's their blend.
Oh, okay.
It's not always that, just throw them in and see what happens. Mm-hmm. But what I like about blends is sometimes when they craft them, they really do take the concepts of smoothness and all that into effect, so they kind of even each other out. So you can't go wrong almost with a blend. And I've emptied this bottle. It's all done.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday Night Fiction Club brought to you by Apothic Red.
Yes, and that's a California wine.
There you go. And I am drinking, this is also very American, I am drinking blueberry muffin coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. You can get that at fine grocery stores everywhere. Huh?
In your Beatles mug.
In my Beatles mug. Lisa turned me on to this. Oh my God, it's such good coffee.
Yummy, yum, yum.
Yeah. You make it and you make it and you come back and your kitchen smells like blueberry. It's kind of cool.
Like you made some muffins to go with your coffee.
Mm-hmm. And I'm nowhere near talented enough to make muffins. I can do the coffee there.
Oh, come on. Muffins are simple. Just throw it all together and throw it in the pan. Okay, it is time to find out what album you have hiding behind you. Album of the week.
Can you see it at all? I mean, can
I
you tell?
see the American flag and oh.
I see Connor. Okay. Okay. Okay, you see the American flag. Now, this, I usually feature music albums. However, this is half music and half comedy. This
Oh,
is
cool.
the Steve Martin Brothers.
We love Steve Martin. Oh
We
my
do love Steve
gosh.
Martin,
The
and
Steve
this
Martin
was an
brothers?
interesting album that he did. I'm sorry, what?
Brothers?
The Steve Martin Brothers, because, see, one side of it is comedy, and then
Right?
the other side is Steve playing the banjo. And Steve put this picture of himself, I guess, from the late 60s or early
Oh
70s on
my
the other
God, look at
side.
that with the peace sign. That is so
I
cute.
know, isn't that? I assume, I don't know if he did it, like a picture then when this came out in the 80s, or if this was really, him in the 60s.
Right?
But I love this picture of him. You
Oh,
know,
that's classic.
yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, and there's really nothing patriotic about it other than the fact that there's the flag there.
Big flag
But
on it.
I knew I had this, and I'm like, it's perfect for tonight's show.
I
So
wonder if it's out there in digital format now, because oh my God, I love Steve
yeah,
Martin.
you know what? This is like he put out 4 comedy albums, and it was Let's Get Small, A Wild and Crazy Guy,
That's the most
Comedy
famous
Is Not
one.
Pretty, and then this one. Now I know the others were released on CD. I don't think this one ever was. This was
Okay.
probably his least successful, probably because he had the music on there. Although ironically enough, now he's doing very, very well with his music.
Is
You
the
know,
music any good?
it is. This is like
Ah,
pretty much, it's just banjo playing, doing like old tunes on there. But you haven't heard any of his current stuff?
I have not. I'm.
He won a Grammy, I believe. He did some stuff like bluegrass type music. He put out a
Ah,
couple albums in the past 5 years or so, and I think it was last year he did an album with Edie Brickell, where Edie was doing the vocals and he was doing the
yeah.
playing, and it's really good. It's on Spotify. You should check it out.
Cool. I will check it out.
Yeah, I've always
I
been an Edie
love
Brickell fan.
bluegrass music. I think there's nothing more American than bluegrass, although the roots of bluegrass is Irish music.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like
But
bluegrass. Lisa and I were just talking about that. How like neither one of us are like really country fans, but listening to
uh-huh.
bluegrass is pretty cool.
See, I've gotten more into country because of the segue, like blending kind of that bluegrass Appalachian
Hmm.
music into the rock and roll. The more classic style of rock and roll.
Yes, I agree, and I think that a lot of today's country music that's popular on the radio that has sort of that pop sound almost reminds me of like '80s pop tunes.
Right.
'Cause they're like they're more fun and
Hmm.
very very. I was gonna say user friendly, but listener friendly.
Less about, my dog left me, my wife left me, my truck broke down.
Exactly, and
That's
a lot
Melissa
of
doing a
depressing
country.
songs.
I wanted to bring up real quick. David Anson commented, Johnny Horton's The Battle of New Orleans, and The Battle of New Orleans is in my playlist. However, I have the Johnny Cash version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good one there. MG on, MG on. Checked in on the
MG
comments. Just saying
on!
hi. Been a long time. Good and fun to see you all. MG on,
Yay,
dude.
MG
Thanks for
on!
stopping in and watching us
Good
live.
guy. He's always fun. I love what he posts up on Google Plus. So go out and look for MG on Google Plus.
Hmm. Yeah, MG on's a really good guy. Very friendly guy. Very supportive of like his friends in the writing community, and
He is
just a fun.
incredibly.
Yeah, just a fun guy. So thanks for tuning in, MG on.
Yay. Okay, couple of songs. James Brown.
Living in America.
Yes, which was in which Rocky movie?
Rocky Four.
Yay!
Yeah. If they play,
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead and say what you're saying.
Okay, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, I get so excited. Cut me off.
Okay, they play that at work. That's in the song rotation at work.
Is it?
Yeah, and I've seen that. You know me with the Rocky movies. I love
Yeah.
Rocky movies, and I can't see that without wanting to do the dances from the movies.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Apollo Creed was out there dancing, with James
Uh-huh.
Brown, and he's there. He's got his gloves on and everything, and I'm doing that down the aisles in the workplace, and
Yep. Well,
fun.
what's
If you're
interesting
around, it's
is
fun.
the whole Rocky, what do you want to call it? All the Rocky movies. My kids
Right.
have not seen them, and this summer we have time. I was like, okay, we're doing Firefly right now. We're introducing the kids to Firefly, that TV show.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
And then, and we've discovered that there's some not kid-friendly scenes in it, but we're just kind of like, close your eyes.
Are they liking it so far? Just curious.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tonight is the first night we're watching the pilot episode. But my plans are, I want them to see the Rocky movies.
Oh, great.
So we're introducing our kids to all these things that we've enjoyed over the years, and I just realized, like, wow, they're getting old enough they could really appreciate this.
Hmm. I think
Um,
they'll like them.
yeah. And then my daughter I'm introducing to Veronica Mars, which has nothing to do with our scene tonight, but
I've never seen it. I know it's got a very, very huge following.
yeah, it's Veronica Mars is fun. It's a very good show, interesting. A
Awesome.
couple more songs, and I think this is interesting since it's Sir Elton John who did this one, but Philadelphia Freedom.
Hmm.
You remember that one?
I do. I do.
All right, and here's the big one. And while it's not necessarily something you play on the 4th of July, it's definitely about American culture, and that is Don McLean's American Pie.
Hmm. I prefer the remake by Madonna.
You do not.
I do not know. But no, yeah,
You
classic
can't
song.
both poop me.
Great,
uh,
great song.
a couple of Eddie Rabbitt songs, Great Old American Town.
And I love a rainy night, such a beautiful song.
Beautiful. Well, that's just one of my favorite songs by Eddie Rabbitt.
Yeah, it's a great
He
song.
also did a song called American Boy. And all of this is in my list. And if you have some songs that you want me to add to the list, please comment and I will add them. I just think it's fun for everybody to be able to build on it. So let me know.
Yeah, and if you don't use Spotify, check it out. It's free.
It is.
Yeah, Spotify is wonderful. Whenever I turn people onto that, they're usually pretty impressed and get hooked on it. It's easy to
Yeah.
do.
Well, and I now subscribe. I have a premium membership. But that way I can take the music with me, and I
Hmm.
just use it all the time. I just love it a lot. I've been starting to play with SoundCloud and iHeartRadio and Beats Music, but my favorite is still Spotify.
Yeah, I love Spotify, and I think I pay like $4.99 a month or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, it's
it's
not
really
bad at
cheap.
all.
And this way I always can play with music. It doesn't have everything. I'm learning that. But,
Yeah, there's some things, but
okay, back
all
to
right.
our topic.
Okay, let me go back to this long list that I have here. Then
Okay, get back to
okay,
your list, buddy.
Darren Wearmouth again. So Dulce et Decorum. Mina Jackson, who's a friend of mine from Newcastle, Delaware, very,
Uh-huh.
very cool lady. She mentioned The Best Years of Our Lives, a great, great movie.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one. Good
Yeah,
one.
that is a really great one. Lisa Stahl said she second Drew's mention of John Adams. It was amazing. Movies. Well, now I did not see this beforehand, but she said Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which I had
Hmm.
mentioned. Patton, 1776. There you go. That's a really
I,
classic one.
yeah, that is a classic one.
Yeah, that
It's been
was
a while since I've seen that.
yeah, that was something that my parents liked a lot. My dad was a big fan of that. Um, Rocky Four, which you had mentioned,
Yeah.
Lisa had mentioned. Glory. Now there's a good one.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one. Excellent. That
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
we
That's a
were just
fantastic movie.
we were just in South Carolina for a beach trip. We were staying on Folly Beach, but we decided to do the Fort Sumter tour while we
Hmm.
were there and took the boat out. Was that Kitty?
Yeah, it's Nikita.
Kitty video bomb. um, but we went out to Fort Sumter, and I guess not on Fort Sumter, but further down is where that battle actually took place
Oh, okay,
that they
cool.
immortalized in glory. Yeah.
Right. Oh, fantastic. I'm sorry, kind of lost my place here. Yeah, Gettysburg.
Yes. Good
Yeah.
one.
Yep. Saving Private Ryan.
That was on my list.
Yeah.
I saw that movie in 1998, and the reason I remember that is we were hiking the Appalachian Trail, my husband and I, and we took a break when we got to Bennington, Vermont, and went over to New York.
Oh my.
Hello, Mario. Okay. Um, we took a break for almost a week. I mean, not quite a week, but we took a long break and hung out at our friend's place just over the border in Cambridge, New York. And we went to see Saving Private Ryan. And I just have to say, when you're living in the woods and you're
Hmm.
hiking out in that nature all day, birds singing, and yeah, you cross roads and you hitch rides into town and get groceries, but you're really removed from stuff. And then to go see a movie about war was
Yeah.
just stark and startling. I remember coming out of the movie theater, and it was still light out when we came out because we went for an afternoon matinee, and I was like blinking, like, oh my God, I just went to hell and back. It was just
Right.
very intense.
Yeah, very intense. Very intense. Um, great, great movie. Great cast in that movie.
It was. It was
Yeah.
incredible. Matt Damon was in it. He was Private Ryan in
Right,
that
right.
movie.
Yeah, of course, Tom
Tom,
Hanks. Yeah.
I think Vin Diesel was in that movie.
I believe you're right. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. With Vin Diesel, where he was, not the Vin Diesel you see in every other
Right.
movie.
I
He
mean,
was,
he did great in that role. It was a
yeah.
small part, but he did really well. I will say, the whole storyline where they send them in to get this last brother, like there were five of them, and like four of them got killed, and they were like, no, we're going to pull this last brother out.
Right.
My grandmother was telling me there was a woman that they were family friends with that happened. She lost all her sons
Oh,
in the
wow.
war, and she had four sons, and they were all killed in World War II.
Wow. That's
Not to
horrible.
be a bummer, but
No, no, but it's horrible. And that movie was, yeah, great, great patriotic movie there. And it's funny, Jesse Jameson, I'm seeing he left a comment, and I'll just bring this one up because it's Tom Hanks. He said, "Does Forrest Gump qualify as a patriotic story?" And I would
yes.
say so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that on my list, and I'll tell you why. It's like it's the American experience. If you watch, I want to go watch the movie again now. It goes through that whole '60s.
Hmm.
He goes to war and he comes back. I mean, if you read the book is very different.
I've heard. I've never read it. I'm curious
The
because I
book
know
is
in that he like it's like more sexual and stuff, isn't it?
yes, it's a little bit more. I don't know how you want to. It's more grungy, more raw.
Hmm.
But it's worth reading. I enjoyed the book and I enjoyed the movie for what it is. And we've had this discussion.
Hmm.
It can veer off of the book and I'm fine with it. Unless there's a real attempt to follow the book and they F with you.
Right,
And
right.
it's like, change the ending. I'm like, what? You went to all this effort to follow the book, verbatim, and then you screw with something very important in it. It's like, but
Yeah.
there's some things that are just not good for screen. It's good in a novel, but not good on the big screen. And I can enjoy both. And I enjoyed both the book and the movie Forrest Gump.
Oh, cool. One of these days I'll have to check it. I remember there was even a sequel to the book.
Is there? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I forget what it's called, but I guess it follows Forrest and his son, a few years later.
Ah,
And
how cool
apparently,
is
from what
that?
I understand, there's without giving away, I haven't read it either, so I mean I don't know. But apparently, there's even like he deals in there with his story being made into a movie starring Tom Hanks. Like
Ah,
even works
cool.
Tom Hanks into it, from what I understand.
How cool is that? Oh, I have to bring up a comment.
Hmm.
Drew Avera says, if you like a blend of country, rock, and bluegrass, check out the Civil Wars. Drew Avera, I love the Civil Wars. They're
Yeah, I'm really not familiar with them at all. I know we talked
um,
about them one other time. I got to check them out.
their latest album. The song I love the most on that is "Dust to Dust." It's absolutely fantastic. I love Drew Avera, man after my own heart. I love the Civil Wars, and I have to give Liz Schulte a shout out for introducing me to the Civil Wars.
Cool, cool. It's funny looking through the comments here, seeing your son in there and everything. That's kind of neat. We go back to my list here. Actually, Lisa had mentioned some books as well. She had mentioned those movies we just talked
Oh,
about.
cool.
For books, she said The Hunt for Red October.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and Patriot Games.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
same author, right?
Yeah, Tom Clancy, the late
Yep.
Tom Clancy. Same character, the Jack Ryan character was in both of those. She also mentioned Run Silent, Run Deep. And
Oh,
then
cool.
really an old classic here, The Red Badge of Courage, which I think I remember reading
Oh, yes,
in
that's on
grade
my
school or
list.
junior high.
Yeah, I've got a lot of classics on my patriotic American novel list. I have to mention anything by Clive Cussler.
Oh, okay. Is that was it Dirk Pitt is the character?
Yes, Dirk Pitt is the character.
Okay.
It's. I won't say that all the movies are like these rah rah America things, but it's definitely American secret agencies and things like that.
Hmm.
So I enjoy. I haven't read everything by Clive Cussler, but he is definitely one of those novelists that it's a beach read. It's light. I mean, it's fun. It's adventure. It's entertaining. There's usually a little side nookie going on, but but it's not about that. It's a lot of fun. I like his stuff.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Um, for a movie now, I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't consider this a patriotic movie, but for me, especially because of one scene in there, it's always struck me as a patriotic movie, and that was Superman 2.
Oh
You,
yeah,
you
I
know, I
definitely
love
could see
Superman
that.
2.
Superman is about patriotism.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
And that's the one where General Zod and his coworkers. No, I guess you don't call them coworkers, but his bad guys. They come down and they want to take over the Earth. And there's Superman, of course. Spoiler. He thwarts that from happening. But at the end,
Damn
he's.
you and your spoilers.
I know, but like the White House has been destroyed and stuff. But at one point, and maybe it looks cheesy, but I don't care. Christopher Reeve is there flying, and he's holding the American flag because he wants to go put it back on the White House, and
You
and it's,
know,
it's just
you
great.
can call it cheesy or you can see it for what it is, and that's that graphic novel, character. That's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. So I love the Superman movies, and yeah, Superman. What's
Absolutely.
more patriotic than Superman?
I don't know.
And now
I'm
you have
going.
Captain America, which is great for like
Oh
today's
yeah.
generation. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw out some movies you might not have thought of as patriotic, or they're patriotic, but you might not have thought of them. An American Tail.
Oh, okay. Wow, good
Now,
choice there.
yeah, I have kids. An
Right.
American Tail is this great, this little guy, surviving, coming over to America. I mean, what is more of an American story than American Tail? It's
Mm-hmm.
just awesome. Here's some obvious ones. The Right Stuff.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, there was a
In my
delay
head,
there.
you're
Just
saying
like,
it. I'm
what the
thinking
hell are you talking about?
WRIGHT stuff. Is it about the Wright brother? Yeah, I'm
No,
tired.
you're tired. You're
I need
you're
some more
still in
coffee.
a love haze, hungover.
Buddy's in love. She's in love.
Apollo 13, since we're going there with space
Oh yeah,
exploration.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tom
big one.
Hanks has like done some really great patriotic movies.
And here's one I don't know if you think of as patriotic, but I do because it's about baseball and it's one of your favorite movies.
A Field of Dreams.
Yes,
Okay.
I was waiting. I'm like,
I'm like
yes.
Major
I,
League
I mean, what's
Two.
more American? What's more American than baseball?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's actually like a line in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then of
yeah,
course,
great one there, Melissa.
then going on that line would be A League of Their Own
I was going to mention that one. That's a really good one.
because it's
Centering
not
World War II and.
exactly
Mhm.
the whole storyline of their husbands off to war, and this women's baseball league coming out of that because the men are off to war. They're waiting. So the guy comes in with the telegram like who's going to be the one who lost their husband, and they all kind of like cry. Very much an American experience, telling the American story. Here's another one that's more kind of fun, and that's
Okay.
Top Gun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you just watch that? I'm s-
No,
oh, okay. I'm sorry. So one of my friends just posted in the
Taldra,
past couple of days that they had watched it with their kid. Oh, Tawdra. Okay.
Taldra,
All right,
Taldra
gotcha. I
did.
knew it. Yeah, I knew it was one of you. Okay.
And then I'm going to bring up some more, a little more emotional. Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, not one of my favorite. It's a good movie. Not one that I'll
Yeah.
watch over and over again.
Well, when you're telling the American story, it's not all rah rah ree. I mean, there's some struggles being an American, and
Yeah.
the Vietnam War in particular. And you could name off any amount of whatever movies about the Vietnam War. I mean, we're not going to say that's shaking the American pom poms. It's just telling the story of being an
Right.
American and what we've been involved in. Same with the things that have come out of the Gulf War and the war on terrorism. Which I have to mention this movie. It's United 93. They did the movie about the
9/11.
passengers on the airline who fought back.
Yeah, I never did see that. I heard it was really great.
Um, it's worth seeing because and it just I'm emotional anyways. If you saw my last walk cast, I'm just an emotional
Uh,
person sometimes.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I got all snivelly in there. It's like, I just care too much. Yeah, I feel like taking it down, but you know what? It's me. Take
Yeah,
me as
keep
I
it.
am.
You know, it's you. People love you.
I don't know about that. Sometimes I'm honest in a way that's too honest, and I don't know. Sometimes I need to take it back. But see the movie United 93. No matter what your views are on what's happening now politically, these were people who realized what was going on because they got all the information. This was the last plane, and they got all the information that was going on that the terrorists were using the planes as bombs,
Hmm.
killing more people, like the towers, the
Right.
World Trade Centers, and obviously the Pentagon. And they decided to fight back, even if
Right.
they couldn't save their own lives. They were going to try to save other people, and
Right.
that is
Yeah, it's very, very
that's
moving.
heroism. That's being an
Yeah.
American, getting up and saying, you know what? This may not work out well for me, but I'm going to try to make it not be bad for somebody else. And
Hmm.
I was really touched by the whole thing. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
On a much lighter note,
I was going to say, come on, something lighter.
Drew Avery says Steve Martin is a beast on banjo,
Oh, yes, he
and
is.
it's true.
He always has been.
Yeah, yeah, he really kicks ass on the. Even if you look at the old Saturday Night Lives, he'd just be out there jamming and doing Ramblin' Man and all that stuff.
Yep. And did you see him on the Muppet Show? He played the
Oh,
banjo on there
I did like when it was first on. I don't really
in the
remember it.
Stone Age, right?
Yeah, back in the old days.
Netflix, I don't think they have it live streaming, or not live stream. I don't think you can stream it on Netflix, but you can get the
Oh, the
discs
discs.
sent
That's
of
right.
the Muppet Show. And Steve Martin, all-time favorite on the Muppet Show. I think he did the Muppet Show more than once.
I think he did, yeah. And just a little shout out to Netflix here. If you folks from Netflix are watching, you gotta like make more things available for streaming that you have just available on disc. Because for
They're
me, I don't
trying.
really do the disc thing that much anymore.
They've got the issue now. Like Redbox gets the since Blockbuster, I guess, is gone completely
Mhm.
now. I don't even know if they have an online service anymore. Do they?
I don't think so.
But Redbox gets the new releases first, and they get like 30 to 60 days with it. And
Hmm.
then Amazon's brokered a deal. And so Netflix has kind of gotten pushed back to like third tier. So
Oh,
that's one
okay.
of the issues you've got going on there. Just nothing to do with American, patriotic movies or anything.
But a lot of Americans, stream their things, so we're not completely off topic here. Hey, I got a
um,
movie for you that's
Please go.
that is not maybe a lot of people would not view them as patriotic movies because it deals with a lot of bad guys, but the Godfather movies.
And the Godfather book.
Yeah, I never read the novel. I
I
never
have
read
the
the novel.
novel in my list of books. I should have put the Godfather in the movies. But yeah, I mean, American experience.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Godfather 2, it deals with Vito
Yes.
Andolini before he was Corleone,
Yes.
coming to America and, his ordeals and him just rising up in,
Yep.
chosen career. Yeah, it's patriotic to a degree, I would say, those movies there.
Well, it's
A man
American
who came in,
story.
was a family man and, yeah, definitely an
It's
American story.
it's part of the American story. And did you see when they broadcast The Godfather on TV, they blended the
Yes.
movies so that they put them in chronological order. Did you see
Hmm.
that? Yeah, I wonder
I
if that's
did,
available
yeah.
anywhere.
It was at least available for a while on video cassette back in the day. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if
that's how
there's.
long ago it was.
But no, I remember that. I remember that. It was kind of cool the way that they put it in
It was.
in the
It was a different way
chronological
to
order.
watch it, and I love The Godfather.
Oh, I love the Godfather movies, and a lot of people crap all over the third one, but the third one was still really good.
But it was part of the story. I thought it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. This one just popped into my head, and I don't know if you'll remember this movie or not. Do you remember a movie in the '80s called American Pop?
I don't.
It was an animated movie that, and we talked about The Godfather, and that made me think of it. It was about pretty much this one family's journey through the 20th century with like
Right.
a character coming to America, except all of the members are like really have a strong connection to music. So it's
Oh,
like,
cool.
yeah. So there's a lot of like popular music from going back to. I assume it starts in the 20s. It's been a while since I've seen it, but and then later the characters get into rock and roll, and I remember like a lot of popular tunes being used in there. Like I remember one character, he was like. Well, it's say lip syncing, but it's a cartoon, so obviously he would be lip syncing. But he was doing Bob Seger's night moves in there,
Oh,
and
cool.
it
I'll
was
have to
it was a
check this
pretty cool
out.
movie. It's a little dated if you watch it now, but
Hey, I
it used
don't
to show up.
mind that.
Yeah, it used to show up on cable all the time. That's a cool movie.
Well, and this is a movie I didn't have on my list, but it just popped in my head. American Graffiti.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
still have not seen that one of these days.
you got to see that. You just got to see
That's what
it.
people have been telling me.
And Easy Rider.
I've never seen Easy Rider, believe it or not.
It's just another part of the American story.
Yeah, definitely need to see
Worth it.
that.
I've got some books,
Okay.
and maybe they aren't, feel good patriotic books, but these are kind of classic American novels that I think if you're American, you need to read. And if you want to know anything about America and what we've been through in our history and how we feel about our history, these are good books to read.
Okay.
Um, a couple by John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Fantastic.
of, of Mice and Men, which is my favorite John Steinbeck novel. And actually, it's a novella. It's really
Hmm.
short. So if you're kind of leery of reading some of these classic canon English lit type stories, Of Mice and Men is a great one to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Great story.
it's very much about relationships, but it's part of the American story. Give it a
Hmm.
shot. Okay, here's a little trivia. What did my son just poke at the screen?
I didn't see it, but I heard it. Oh, is
See it
that
now? Show it again, Connor.
that to me looks like a sonic screwdriver.
It is. It's Doctor Who's. Which doctors? We got two versions of the sonic
Do you
screwdriver.
really?
Yes. Each kid has their own Doctor Who sonic.
Here's the one, and here's a Dalek.
And he has a Dalek.
Oh,
There's a Dalek.
nice. Awesome. Oh,
So there you
Melissa,
go.
you just may have the coolest family in the world. I gotta tell you.
These poor kids are indoctrinated with our fantasy sci-fi
You see,
addiction.
there was a very quick, like 15-second promo for the next season of Doctor Who that showed up a few days ago online. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, did it? I'm
Yeah.
not so happy about the new Doctor.
No? How come?
No, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
How
okay.
it turns
I
out.
think he
I was
shows
in love
pros.
with Matt Smith, so I
You
don't
know what's
know.
going to be weird for me is that I watched it all binge watching, all seven
Yeah,
seasons. So
yeah.
it's going to be weird for me now watching it week to week when it does come back, but I'm
Oh,
excited about it.
I'm almost ready to just let the season go by, but you know what? I won't because it's like True Blood. True Blood started. It's like hopefully it's recorded because I want to watch it when we're done here. Um, I can't. I keep telling myself, oh, I'll get five of them lined up and then I'll watch it. It's like no, no, I can't help myself. I got to see what happens, and
Now,
then wait all week long.
we did have another comment come up. This was one of the later ones that came up on Facebook, and coincidentally enough, you mentioned this friend who is an author friend of ours, Todger Candle.
Yes.
Todger has said there is a very obscure 45 recorded by a Canadian about Americans that used to bring a tear to my eye. I believe it was called Americans. I can't,
Ah.
yeah, I can't say I'm familiar with that, but I'd look for that. For books, Gods and Generals.
Oh, good one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
really good
didn't
one.
think of that one.
Yeah, The Killer Angels,
Don't know that one.
okay, The Last Full Measure. And for movies, Todger says, I love the National Treasure movies and
Oh,
The
those
West
are
Point Story.
awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't even think of those. I love the National Treasure movies. They're awesome.
I've only seen the first one, but I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, they're good stuff. I like that whole kind of mythos with the American founders. I enjoy that aspect.
Oh, cool. I got a music one that I'd like to mention. It's actually something that I was just listening to with Lisa. I kind of turned her onto it, and that is the Smile album by Brian Wilson. Are you familiar
Really?
with? Yeah.
I
You say
don't know that
okay.
album.
Well, have you ever heard? Well, just briefly, Smile was supposed to be an album by the Beach Boys, in the
Hmm.
1960s. It was supposed, I guess it was worked on around 1966, 1967. It was supposed to be the follow-up album to Pet Sounds, which is,
Oh,
often shows
I
up
didn't
in
know
lists
that.
of, yeah,
I
also
learn
shows,
something every week, buddy.
oh, well, sit back, buddy's going to tell you a little story here about Smile.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, I dropped my pen. Basically, I dropped my pen, but I don't need that now. Um,
You're
Smile
so
was supposed
cute, buddy.
to. Thanks. Thanks. Smile was supposed to come out after Pet Sounds, and Smile was a very, very, very ambitious project from Brian Wilson. Brian was the producer, the main songwriter for the Beach Boys. Now, most of the time when he wrote the songs, he concentrated on the music, and he worked with lyricists. I teamed up with this man named Van Dyke Parks, who was a poet and a songwriter, and they made some really, really, really like deep lyrics for their songs. And it was all, the whole idea of the album was that it was covering Americana. Going back to to Plymouth Rock. It was going all the way back there, like
Oh,
coming into
wow.
modern day, and
So not the Beach Boys.
that well, what, and that was the problem, is that a couple of the other Beach Boys really fought Brian Wilson on this, and they're just like, come on now, the audience isn't going to go for this, and I think the record company was like giving him a lot of grief too, and he was catching all that grief from so many people, and unfortunately, he was also very heavily into drugs at the time, and it just like shattered the guy. And that's what
Oh.
actually got him out of the music industry for a while, because he had spent so much time working on this project, and they recorded most of the album at the time. And for years, for decades, it was considered to be like this great lost album. Like bootlegs would show up on the internet in various places. Fans would like go crazy for it. And what happened was, like, Brian Wilson thankfully got his act together later on. Got off the drugs, got a lot of psychiatric care, got back into music as a solo artist, and he decided to finish the Smile album. So he did it with his own band, and he released it. I think it was in 2004, and it is fantastic. I love this album. I think a lot of people, when they first listen to it, are like, okay, it's kind of weird, because he sings. There's a song on there called "Vegetables," where he's singing all about vegetables, and it's really kind of
How weird is
bizarre.
that?
Yeah, it's fun though. Ask Lisa, because I played that song for her. She's like, "Oh my God, this is silly as hell, but I love it." But it's just like musically, it's so good, and the concept is so good, and it wraps up. It's kind of centered in a degree around. Well, it's part of it is "Good Vibrations." You know that song?
Yes.
That was supposed to be on the Smile album originally, and Smile fell apart, like I said, and they used it as a single. But you hear like little bits and pieces of Good Vibrations throughout some of the other songs.
Hmm.
It pops up musically, and yeah, Buddy's in full all-out geek mode, because I'm a big, big Brian Wilson fan and a big, big Beach Boys fan, and that is on Spotify, and it's a good headphones album to listen to. You can also
Cool.
listen to the Beach Boys Smile sessions, which came out just a couple of years ago, from all the stuff they recorded back then. But I recommend listening to Brian Wilson's, because that's the complete work. It's not
Cool.
bits and pieces of songs like the Beach Boys one.
I did not know that existed. I'm
Yeah, check
telling
it
you,
out.
buddy, you
Smile.
are so full of this information.
Well, thanks. I guess. David Anson said Piers Anthony, bio of a space tyrant books. Interesting. I am not familiar with those.
I am, and I see what he's talking about. It's been so long since I read them, so I'm just going to not try to go over it. um, I don't know why, but my son just mentioned the song "Should I Stay or Should I Go" by The Clash.
Okay. All right. First of all, I think it's awesome that your son, being his age, knows
I
that song.
I know. Well, he lives in my household. He listens to what I listen to.
Great, great song. And,
But
and I'm sure there are Americans who have wondered, should I stay? Should I go? So,
exactly.
right. There you go.
All right, it looks like we're running out of time, but I want to mention some books, and I think
Okay.
you mentioned some of them. We did The Sound and Fury, The
Right.
Sound and the Fury, William Faulkner, Gone with the Wind,
Oh,
Margaret
okay.
Mitchell, definitely an American
Oh, yeah.
story. Red Badge of Courage was already mentioned, but I had to mention The Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, okay. Good choice
Yeah.
there.
James, is it Debimon Moore? Well, anyways,
Okay.
here's one you might not have thought of as an American patriotic story, but I just had to bring it up, and that's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Have you
Not.
read that one?
I have not. I have not.
We talked about The Godfather. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. If you haven't read
Oh,
any Jack Kerouac, it's a little kind of all over
very
the
much around the
place.
beatnik culture, I know. And
Yes,
yeah.
yes, but On the Road is definitely one. The rest of these is more of like an exploration of the American experience from different viewpoints. Like Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison is about being African American in the time of the civil rights
Hmm.
and what it was like before. Beloved, Toni Morrison, which was turned into a
Oh.
movie, is about slavery, and I won't
Hmm.
go into it. It's kind of a depressing story, but it's part of our history.
Right.
And I don't know that I can go a show without bringing up The Great Gatsby, but
Yeah.
but F. Scott Fitzgerald really kind of captured that roaring 20s, living the American dream kind of concept. So I consider that. And here's one. I don't know if you've read this one, Lonesome Dove
I
by
have not, but
Larry
yeah.
McMurtry. I mean, that's the Old West kind of, and what's more American than the Old West?
Hmm. Oh,
Last
well,
but not least, one that every child probably is forced to read at some point. This is a different kind of American story. Is The Call of the Wild
oh, okay.
by Jack London. Have you read that one?
You know what? When I was a kid, and it's been so long, I barely remember it.
Right.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check it out.
Cool.
And there's our sonic screwdriver.
Along the same lines of what you were talking about with westerns, I think something too that you know, you, and I guess sometimes you can be kind of hard pressed calling it patriotic, but I look back at a lot of the old mystery stories from like even the 30s and 40s, things that like Humphrey Bogart was in,
Right.
things like your Sam Spade, your Maltese Falcon, all of that,
Yep.
because I don't know, maybe not so much because it was about American, but like those private eye and cop characters had like those strong American values about them,
Well, and they're
about
very
justice always prevailing and such.
yes, and they're very American. I mean,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
very
the
American.
American. I mean, you look at that whole kind of generation of movie stars and the stories that they told, the mysteries, the like you said, justice prevailing, very American.
Yes, very much so. Very
At
much
least
so.
what we like to think of as American.
Well, you know what? We have gone over an hour. I really
Oh
enjoyed that,
gosh,
and I want to thank everybody for the great suggestions. And we had a lot of
absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful ones that people brought up. So
Um,
thank you all for that. I appreciate it.
One more comment I just saw. Jesse Jameson says, never got into it, but Hogan's Heroes.
Oh,
TV
okay.
show. We really didn't touch on TV shows that much, but
Yeah,
Hogan's
we didn't.
Heroes made fun of the Germans, and that makes it patriotic, right? And that made me think.
You get a lot of good TV shows, especially from that time period,
Yep.
from the '60s. That
Remember the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman and
Bionic Dog. There
Wonder
was
Woman?
Yeah, there was a Bionic Dog. I wasn't just kidding. Okay,
No,
but
you
yeah,
made
Wonder
that
Woman.
up.
No, I
You made
didn't. The
that up.
dog's name. Oh, the dog's name was Max. Jamie had the dog Max. He had some bionics. It wasn't a show, but he was in a couple episodes. But yeah, Wonder Woman, fantastic.
Get out of the cookies, Connor.
But yeah, Wonder Woman, great, great character. I'm curious what they're going to do with her in the Batman and Superman movie that comes out. Wonder Woman's
Oh
going to be in
yeah.
there as well.
Did you mention the greatest American hero already?
No, I didn't. But yeah, there you go. Great
Probably
one.
got to bring that one up.
Yeah, you kind of got to. Great,
Because I
great
didn't
classic.
think about the TV shows, but yeah, there's a lot of good ones on that too.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So that was a fun show.
That's an awesome show. Yay! And Buddy's
Yeah.
engaged.
Yes, I'm engaged. I'm engaged.
That's a
And
great American story.
well, thanks. And I thank your family for appearing on the show tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Guest appearance.
And everyone who's watching us live, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're
Yes.
catching it later, thank you for watching. Then also, we really appreciate you taking the time and spending it with us. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Jesse, David, MGon, Drew, everybody, Lisa, everybody who's commented. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. And we will be back again next Sunday, and we'll have
Yes,
a
we will.
new, fun, exciting topic for you that we'll pick at least by Sunday morning.
I've been thinking about it. I think I got an idea for us.
Okay, well, we'll do a little after party thing. We'll talk.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, everyone, take it easy. Have a great week. Hey, the main reason we didn't mention this earlier, but the reason we picked this topic tonight, well, obviously, because it's the 4th of July. And yeah, I
Born
think you can
on
see
the
my
4th
cat in the window.
of
So, 4th of
July.
July is coming up this Friday. So, if you do celebrate the 4th of July, have a very, very happy Independence
Yes,
Day.
if you're American and you're celebrating, or if you're not, but you still celebrate it, yay.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, everyone, have a great week. Enjoy your 4th of July, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again.
See you next week, everybody. Take care. Namaste.
Namaste. God bless America.